Welcome back. I hope you've been keeping well. The timestamps are in the description box. Let's get started. Story number 1. Opie writes, I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 27 male, for 7 years. And I'm about to end it because of a stupid question he asked me. Like 2 days ago, we were chilling at his place, and out of nowhere he asked me if I could ever raise someone else's child. I was confused since I'm child-free, and so is he. So I said that he knows I don't even want kids of my own. He clarified that he means if I'd ever raise and accept a kid that my partner would have in an affair. Honestly, I was speechless. I don't even know what I was feeling at that moment. Anger? Confusion? I think I stayed there in silence for a few minutes before we tried to justify and say that the, quote, hypothetical child, unquote, is not at fault in this situation. At that point, I was starting to get angry and asked him if he's trying to tell me something. He got mad at me and asked me how I could even assume he'd do something like this and that it was just an innocent question. I started to feel like throwing up, so I just left his place. I haven't left my place since then. He has tried to reach out and I assume told our mutual friends about what happened because some of them too have been reaching out and telling me to hear him out. I haven't replied to anyone. I just feel so drained and mad. He went from again trying to say that the child is innocent to saying he's sorry, to telling me I'm overreacting and so on. I don't think I've calmed yet entirely, and maybe I will regret this when I get back to my senses, but I decided to break up with him. I don't think I can ever fully trust him after this, even if this question was indeed innocent. He knows my family's history with cheating. He knows I lost my grandpa because he made some bad decisions after his wife cheated on him. He knows my grandma has been abused her entire life by a cheating man. He knows all of this, so I don't understand why he'd think it was okay to ask me this. Even if I am in fact overreacting, this question planted some ugly thoughts into my mind that I don't think I can get rid of. I'm going to throw down the drain a 7-year-old, pretty much perfect relationship because of a stupid question. We'll get to Opie's update soon. Opie, I have to say this to me is red flags all over because why did he ask this and then he keeps on and on and on making such a fuss about it if it was just some innocent question. So things don't add up here, that's pretty clear to me. Let's get to comments and then we get Opie's update. Tell him you would never raise someone else's child and that you would leave him immediately if it would ever come to a situation where he made a child in an affair. And then see his reaction. Basically, play the ball back to him and observe. And someone else says, in less than 9 months, you'll probably hear about a child and a baby mama. Hopefully I'm wrong. Really sorry, Opie. And here's an update from Opie. I replied the update in a comment, but it's not showing and people keep asking me, so I'll put it here too. And yes, I get it. I definitely need to work on my issues and on my temperament. But cheating is and always will be a touchy subject for me, and he knew how it triggered me, which is why I had that reaction. I'm not trying to excuse it, but I'm just explaining why. The update. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do this, so I'll leave the update here. Some of you said my reaction was over the top and I should listen to him first, and you were right. I admit I might have jumped too fast to that conclusion and I should probably work on that. I decided to meet him and talk. We did, and at first he denied that he ever did anything and said he just randomly thought of that question. But in the end, he admitted that he did cheat on me. He swore that it was just a mistake and it only happened once. But the woman he cheated on me with got pregnant and didn't want to get an abortion. He said that he didn't want to lose me because of a mistake and that he loves me more than anything, but confessed that he too wishes to raise that kid and was hoping he could do it with me because being in the relationship with me feels so natural and comfortable to him, and he can't imagine raising a child with someone else. He confessed to his friends, and they told him he should try to warm me up to the idea. And since he knew that the biggest reason why I'm child-free is my fear of being pregnant, he figured that I might agree to it because someone else was delivering the baby. He told me that he was always hoping I'd change my mind, and that while he still regrets what he did, we should view it as an opportunity. At that point, I was close to losing it. And I also started screaming at him. I know I should probably work on that too. And I asked him why he thought I'd agree with this when he knows about what happened to my grandpa and grandma because of their cheating spouses. And he said that this is completely different. After that, I honestly couldn't listen to him anymore, so once again, I just left. I blocked all of our supposedly mutual friends who kept defending him, and I also blocked him. I'm devastated that our relationship is ending like this, but he did the one thing that he knew would hurt me the most. And I can't see myself ever forgiving him or accepting his child, even though he is right that the child is innocent. Maybe some of you were right when you said that he dodged a bullet, because I would have been a terrible stepmom probably. Well, Opie, I disagree with the people that say that he dodged a bullet because your now ex-boyfriend, he cheated on you and he got somebody else pregnant. And then he tried to make it a silver lining kind of thing. He had 7 years to tell you that maybe he'd like to raise a child eventually. So cheating doesn't justify this at all. And I kind of feel that your boyfriend wants you to shoulder the responsibility for this child. I also have to question whether or not this really was the first time he cheated on you. I think probably there were other people as well. But at any rate, Opie, I do think you did the right thing for you and ultimately for him and this kid as well. So good luck to all of you. And on we go to story number 2. Opie writes, they were childhood friends, then high school sweethearts. And then on and off and then best friends. I hate that I hate her. I hate that she knows that I hate her. My husband hasn't given me any reason to worry, but it's not only my fearing they would do something. It's the disrespect that she shows me. She always brags about knowing him better, but it's only natural, isn't it? They've been friends for 30 years. I've known my husband for 3 years. She always talks about how she was the one who left him, meaning that he would have stayed with her now had she chosen to. And she makes it sound like she could anytime take him back. She doesn't say that when he's around, and when I tell him what she's playing at, he makes it sound like she's joking. If I get sad or start crying, he would say, even if she's saying this to hurt you, she's raging because I would never leave you for her. It calms me down, but why do I need calming down to begin with? The straw was when she showed up in a white dress to our wedding. We had a small wedding with only the closest family and friends, and she showed up in a long white dress. After our marriage, she started calling in the middle of the night, saying she's having panic attacks and my husband has to run to her place. I went with him the second time. She was very angry. I can't get her out of our lives completely because she's friends with everyone in my husband's group, even his sister. But can I at least ask him to cut her off, or am I out of line? I don't want to sound like the crazy controlling wife, but this is tearing my psyche down. Opie's update is coming up soon. Opie, I think you shouldn't worry about sounding like the, as you say, crazy controlling wife. This is about boundaries that are being crossed, it seems, quite frequently. And you certainly have a right to have boundaries in your relationship, in your marriage. He's your husband. So it doesn't matter that she's been his friend for 30 years. You are the wife. Someone like this can really pick away at the trust in a relationship. Over time, it'll just get worse and worse and worse. So don't worry about sounding like a crazy controlling wife, Opie. This friend of his clearly has an agenda and it's nothing good. Let's get to comments and then we get Opie's update. You could also ask your husband how he would feel if you went to your ex's house in the middle of the night. Whatever she's doing is just not appropriate and should contact her family or a medical professional for help. And one more comment. Your husband shouldn't be going to her at all. Instead, you should be calling 911 for her. If your husband is accepting this behavior and coming to her beck and call, then he is not over her. You're going to have to grow a backbone and stand up for yourself against him and show that you can move on without him. And here's Opie's update. Hi, I wasn't planning on making an update at all, since my comments about my husband are being downvoted, and the ones accusing my husband of cheating are top comments. Very unfortunate. Not to mention the DMs calling me a stupid B word for, quote, defending, unquote, my husband. People tend to judge based on their own experiences. I'm sorry about your experiences that made you hate and mistrust men so much. I'm sorry you don't know what love is. And I'm sorry you can't understand that ending 30+ years friendships are hard. Anyway, I woke up this morning and my post had blown up. I showed it to my husband. He has confessed that he noticed my discomfort with his friendship with the ex. He has also been talking to his other friends about it and about his ex's declining mental health. Apparently, he's been asking his sister and the rest of the group to take some of the, quote, burden, unquote, of worrying about the ex because he's been feeling that it's taking a toll on him and his relationship with me. He's been trying to downplay her malice because he doesn't want to worry or hurt me, but he's noticed more than I knew how bad she's treating me, and he doesn't want that anymore. My husband is very compassionate and is always there for his friends, all his friends. And he worries when someone isn't feeling well. I told him that this was different since she was his ex and obviously still wanted him, or at least wanted him around. She's always bragging about how she dumped him, but he's always been there should she want him back. He apologized and agreed to cut the solo contact with her. As I said before, they're in the same group, so I'm not going to get rid of her totally. But at least he's listening to me now and to my boundaries. I won't be updating anymore because I have no interest in defending myself, my husband, and my relationship. Well, OP, you are in this relationship, in this marriage, and if you truly believe that your husband isn't cheating, and I don't think your husband is cheating either, but I do think this woman wants to plant those seeds of doubt in your mind, and I'm glad she's not succeeding at that, but thank goodness your husband is coming around now. OP has since deleted her account. Let's move on to story number 3. OP writes, my husband always complimented me on being bright. I loved that about him. He had such pride that his wife is smart, and he would tell this to anyone. But everything changed about 6 months ago when he insisted that we would take IQ tests. I've never done this before because I really don't care about these things. Anyway, I scored 152, he 133. He was in shock and very subdued for several weeks afterwards. I honestly noticed his sudden moodiness and I knew why, but it was just too awkward to try and talk to him about it. I didn't want to embarrass him. What made it worse is that we did the test via his work, so his co-workers knew about it. Things went back to normal after a couple of months. He wasn't as affectionate anymore, and he certainly never brought up my intelligence, nor complimented me on it ever. But he was pleasant and happy again. It turned out he only went back to normal because he started sleeping with a co-worker. I found out everything when I saw his friend's conversation with him about how he felt turned off by me after the test. He brags about his affair, and apparently his friends and brother and all their wives know about it. It's so odd because I'm still the same me. I didn't change and I never take these tests seriously. And he always knew I was smart. What changed now? I haven't spoken to him yet about anything. Not sure I will either. Clearly his affair made him feel good about this whole thing again because he's back to being pleasant to be around. I love my life and I don't want to change it, especially when our children are still too young and need us. I just needed to get this off my chest and get some perspective. Why the sudden turn off by me? I'm 38, he's 36, children are female 6, male 4, male 3, male and female 16 months. Some clarification. If I'm being judged anyway for staying in my marriage, I should add this embarrassing detail. We have a prenup that ends after 10 years of marriage. We've been married for 7. I can't afford raising my children on my own. If I can't afford it, I could lose custody, not get primary anyway. And if I lose my children, I might as well die. If my husband decides to divorce, however, the prenup doesn't apply. Edit 2. English isn't my first language, not even my third. That's why I, quote, write poorly, unquote, whatever that means. Not because of the lack of intelligence. I'm guessing the idiot who wrote this comment and the idiots who upvoted them are Americans. In that case, I get it. You're oblivious, there's a whole world outside of your little bubble. The other idiot who didn't understand that I have twins who are 18 months old, I ask you, well, OP, you say that you love your life and you don't want to change it, but it's very clear to me that you are stressed out, and I can see that in your edits that this is really getting to you. So are you happy? Are you going to say nothing and hope for the best? It really is ridiculous that your husband got offended that you got a higher score in the IQ test than he did. You did say that the test was taken at work and all his co-workers know about it, and now he's having an affair with one of the co-workers. So I do think that is where all of this started. I think he was ridiculed, teased at work, and now he's having an affair, surprise, surprise, with a co-worker, almost to show to the others that, hey, I'm this big man, I'm having an affair. I understand that you are reluctant to leave because of the children and financial situations, but I do kind of think this thing is going to blow up. It's going to get really bad. Let's get some comments with replies from OP. So sorry this happened to you. Although it hurt you, it shouldn't be about you. It's about his insecurities that he should have worked out with you, not outside the marriage. He screwed up. OP replies, I know, I'm trying to convince myself that it's all him. And someone else says, you love your life of having your husband having sex with another woman. You don't want to change that you are living a lie with him. You want to raise your children thinking it is okay to cheat on their partners. You want to have a spouse that deals with his insecurities by abandoning his marriage and bragging how he is cheating on you with all who know him? And OP replies, I get everything you say, but I'm not in a place to confront him yet, because then I have to face it, and I'm in no place to do that yet. Well, OP, it's easy for the rest of us to give you advice and input, but at the end of the day, you are the one that's in it. It's your life. And if you're not ready to confront him yet, then that's just the way it is right now for you. Well, unfortunately, OP deleted her account, so I don't know if we're ever going to get an update. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and maybe consider subscribing if you are already a subscriber. I thank you so very much for subscribing. That really helps my channel out a whole lot, and I appreciate it very, very much. If you enjoyed this, please give it the thumbs up and leave a comment. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.